crazy as it seems, I believe that it's the misunderstanding of entropy that's at the root of our problems with the observations in the James Webb Telescope. Now, we have a raft of observations in nature that cannot be explained using the Big Bang Theory and relativity and the Standard Model. There are massive holes which are currently filled with dark matter and dark energy, which are made up just to fill the void. They're saying we need to find out what this is. Max Planck is the key to all of this. And the Helmholtz School. So the Helmholtz School continuity goes from 1850 to 1940, somewhere, wherever Planck retired. He died in 47. So he ran German physics. He was from 1990, I think, his dissertation, his doctoral dissertation. From there, all the way through to heading German physics during the war. And the Helmholtz School closed the door on an ethereal solution to the theory, a unifying theory. So the Helmholtz School made the ether an illegal solution in that period, 1850, and closed down Maxwell. Maxwell had it in the hexagonal force field flow. It was there, a mechanical flow of thermodynamics. Hexagonally assembled is the correct way of observing motion in the rigid body instant. And so the Helmholtz School closed the door, saying you can't have the ether. We pledge. In 1900, I saw a video about Planck. It's a quote from him saying that how much he would vanish up the arsehole of Helmholtz. He would do anything for Helmholtz. He would do anything Helmholtz tells him. So basically, it's groveling to Helmholtz. So now you have evidence of 1900. And in 1900, Planck goes silent for a period. And 1906 is Victor Levy's dissertation. So Planck and Levy are working together and produce Levy's dissertation, and then they do the experiment in 1908. The Tunguska event is the first nuclear explosion, testing Levy's control of the matrix, using a matrix of coefficients instead of rotation. So creating a rigid body instant, a collision so powerful that it stops the rotation of the universe for a moment. It's really brilliant. I've distracted myself, but let's go to what they're saying, how they work this, what a nuclear explosion is. I'm saying universe is the cosmic microwave boundary, a sphere, background a sphere, and Earth is the center, and that's the rotation point. There's a misalignment at the center. The North Pole and the South Pole don't meet, and they rotate, and the South Pole hooks over the North, and the North Pole hooks under the South, and then that just rotates at the center. So that's what the axis looks like. That creates heat, work is done, and that's a solid block of gravity is created, and then layers of gravity are built out from that, viscous layers changing until you get a viscosity, which is the Goldilocks zone, the atmosphere, where the bearing is, and then the free bearing of the universe is the atmosphere. The universe rotates around that, but the Earth does a rotation every 24 pulse with the correction of alpha and the little bit. So it should be a perfect 24 pulse. And alpha should be 137, so that alpha as a measured value is not 137, and that the days are not 24 hours exactly, shows that there's an error. So there's the model. Now, Planck's saying, what Planck and Levy are saying, Levy says in 1906 is that the collision so hard will be that a cubic hypercube structure can be inserted using coefficients into the center of rotation, and for that instant, that one instant within the moment, the duration of Planck's constant, there is a cube actually exists instead of a rotational 2D disk. Boom. And so the vortex separate, the tips of the vortex separate, and the north and the south, which were hooked over, will go like that and separate. And now you've got the two vortices separated in the middle. Boom! The whole universe rotation. It's suddenly the water that's usually directed into the center of the planet and is held compressed and comes out as superheated steam as vapor, is suddenly released straight into the boom, compressed air. with a skin of water around it enters the planet down here, enters the atmosphere, because the universe is, it's a ridiculous thing to do, isn't it? And so they've hidden that. And so they made us frightened to look at the information by pretending that nuclear is all about massive explosions and radioactivity and danger, instead of revealing the truth. So that classifying nuclear physics hides the laws of nature and stops us seeing that the Earth's the centre of the universe. And it fulfills the Helmholtz School's pledge that you can't have an ethereal solution to the double slit. Because if you do have an ethereal solution, it's fucking obvious. The ether's the medium, the particles are cavitation. When you put the monitor on, you're measuring inside the cavitation. You're seeing the Planck's constant itself, and that there is no distance in time between the slits and the recording screen. So you see just what the interference is in the instant, which is a rigid body. A particle is created with momentum, the waves. Now, that's the ethereal solution, and it was proven in 1915. Now, Planck talks about entropy. He says that if entropy cannot increase, then change cannot occur, and that's right. So, what's entropy? Now, so entropy is poorly defined, surprisingly enough, because it's defined by the Helmholtz School. Entropy is the journey to homogeneity. So that the idea of a coffee cup with some cream in it, you pour it in, you stir it, you get a pattern, you leave it, over time, you'll get brown liquid. Homogeneous. But if you look closer and zoom in, you'll see that homogeneity breaks down at smaller scale. So as you zoom in, you see actually there's coffee and cream still assembling here. It just looks brown from where I'm looking. But then if you looked at that, you'd see that zone became more homogeneous over time, and that would become more brown. You zoom in, oh no, they're still separating. There's still cream and coffee separating. Do you see? So it's the journey of homogeneity. So now you zoom back out again, and it's entirely a single colour entity, mixture of whatever it is you're looking at. It's a single entity. When you look at it, go to the nth degree, you'll find a limit. So the limit of homogeneity. So this journey, when you're looking at coffee and cream, do you find a place where, oh, actually, there's nothing smaller here? What I found instead is that they just go around each other. The coffee and the cream can't mix. They're different entities. They're from different dimensions, and they just go around each other. And they go around each other because the motion of them shrinking as going smaller, because they're shrinking, they're collapsing, it's water collapsing to nothing. It's that motion shrinking is doing the work. And that work creates energy. The sphere of the shell collapsing has viscosity, so it pushes pressure at the center, and that work must do something, so it goes around and creates a vortex. Two vortices, dimensional vortices, separated at the time particle with the wave, the standing wave, the two inverted vortices. And you disassemble it as a cone by stretching from the equator into a cone. And the measure you need is that the surface areas of the hemispheres are equal to the cones, and then you insert the pi tensor into the appropriate areas, because you're seeing the discs. You're seeing the discs, the hemispheres, and the cones, the vortices, all inverted. So you've got them in a nice, easy way to see what's going on. As per Victor Levy, 1915. So let's redefine entropy as the journey to homogeneity with limits. Ross Anderson's work has found S to the 4. Right? S to the 4 is the bending force of entropy. The units will be meter force. So the mass of light in the time particle theory is a meter 4. That's the unit of light, the mass of light, because it's a bending force. It's shear force flow created from a bending force. The bending force is the bending of the limit of entropy. So entropy must increase. Yeah, that's the law, right? Thermodynamics. Entropy must increase, and therefore change must occur. And the change that must occur is the increase in entropy as a recursive cycle. Welcome to the future. Yeah, the theory of everything is discovered. Unity is here. Earth's the center of the universe. God exists. God is watching you. Christ is king. Follow the rebel king. And let's finish with love rules, do the work, choose. Because this is over, my friends. All of this madness is over, and the new world has begun. Please wake up. You're back in the room. Elvis has left the building.